righty. It is Friday night once again, and we have therapist Tori in the house. How you doing, Miss Tori?
I'm doing good. Awesome.
Good,
I
good.
love Friday.
Yes, indeed. Fridays is our day. We appreciate that. And how did
TGIF.
your? Go ahead.
I was just saying TGIF.
I agree, 2,000%. Let me get some music in the background so we can just have something nice. Okay. So, what else is new this week for you? Anything exciting?
Uh, um, no.
No news is good news,
No,
huh?
yeah, not a lot going on. The music sounds kind of
Is it too
loud.
loud? Sorry.
Yeah,
There you go. Is that better?
yeah, yeah, that's better.
All right. Okay,
No, it's
cool.
been business as usual, so which is a good thing. We had I also teach at Houston Tillotson, so we had midterms this week. So
Mm,
happy to get that out the way.
I
Yeah,
bet. Okay.
yeah. So
Shoot. Yeah, I can understand that too. So cool. Now, we had an amazing discussion last week as we were speaking about courage. And
yes,
this is the first time that we've ever did a part two on a topic. But this one we felt is very important, especially with all the whatnots that's going on in the world today. To understand courage for yourself is very important. Uh,
hmm
can we re-give the definition? Do you have that?
yeah. Let me find it.
Okay.
Let me find it.
And if you are watching us right now and you're not a subscriber, please take the time to subscribe to the Blast Music family. I'm telling you, tons of podcasts and whatnot that will keep you and your family entertained. So definitely sign up, like, and most of all, comment. Thank you for joining us. Let's see who we
Yes.
got here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Miss Erica.
Hey, Erica. So here's the definition once
Go ahead.
again of courage: the ability to do something that frightens you.
Hmm.
So doing in spite of the fear. And then the additional definition here: courage, also called bravery or valor,
Hmm.
is the ability to confront, deal with agony, pain, danger, uncertainty, um, in courage or bravery, especially in battle.
Hmm.
Says here to physically face pain, hardship, even death.
Hmm.
Moral courage is the ability to act rightly in opposition, shame, scandal, or discouragement. So, pretty thorough definition of courage there.
Indeed, indeed. So let me see here. Let's see what direction we'll go because, as you know, I'm the question man. So I got all these questions for you. How about this? Is fear holding me back from doing something that I am called to do?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Indeed.
that's a big one right there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, here these last few weeks, we've been talking about fear a lot, and the
Yes.
acronym, of course, false evidence appearing real.
Mhm.
Sometimes it feels real, but it's really not real.
Right.
It feels like it. We feel like there's something that we're really experiencing, or we feel like there's something that we really are or should be afraid of. And it definitely can bring forth a hindrance. I mean, there are things that we won't do because of fear.
Right. Yeah. Hoo-wee. And
I know,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I know for me, sometimes there are even conversations that I won't have
Mhm.
because of fear. There's things that I won't say because of fear, because of I'm afraid of rejection, or I'm not, I feel like, I need to figure out what the other person is going to say, or I need to go through this mental exercise and look at all the perspectives and parameters before I act. So, all that happens because of fear.
I don't know of anyone else, but when I know there was a dialogue that was going to be not so pleasant, I would
Hmm.
literally reason myself as far as the steps of I'll say this first and go here, then go here, like having a plan. And
Hmm.
and there has been times I had to just scrap all that and just start the conversation. Quit trying to figure out before you know what's going to happen, because
Hmm.
so many times it never went the way I thought it would go. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
hey, fear is a weird motivator. Okay, or non-motivator, either one of the two. When is the last time I really put myself out there and then had a vulnerability hangover?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, being vulnerable is something that I think a lot of us are afraid of. And, I mean, of course, you and I have also discussed the trappings of ego and how we get kind of caught up in that. And it's like we're afraid of what somebody is going to think.
Mhm.
We're afraid of really sharing, our true feelings, because how are you going to take that? What are you going to think? Are you going to think differently about? Are you going to feel differently about me? You
Mhm.
know, and again, those are, issues dealing with abandonment and rejection.
Mhm.
I don't want to experience that. Maybe that's something I've experienced before, and I don't want to experience that again. So,
Right.
I do whatever I can to avoid it.
Yeah.
You know, so I've talked to clients, and sometimes people lose sleep at night, or there's different outcomes, related to that type of fear.
Indeed. Ugh. It seems like we deal with these battles a lot more, fear that is, a lot more until it becomes less and less. I guess it's, you got to be the one to reject that fear or doubt that fear or whatever. You just have to
Right. Well, you
constantly
see,
battle.
you see the hat I got on today.
Oh, you came to war, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly. You got it.
Okay.
Yeah. we gonna knock some stuff down.
Let's
We're
get it.
sometimes we are at war. Not necessarily with the person,
Right.
but sometimes it's spiritual warfare. Sometimes we're warring with ourselves.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a battle.
I think most of my battles is definitely with me, and it's old stinking thinking, as my pastor used to say. You gotta
Hmm.
change that. Did you have anything regarding leadership?
Yeah. I've been doing my homework lately, so I kept it going this week.
Hmm.
And I remember being in seminary, and my last year in particular. I mean, I just really felt that God was dealing with me with me. He was dealing with me. And I promise you, some of those last classes, I'm sure some of my classmates was like, what the hell is going on with her? I mean, she is just boohooing in every class. Like what? And it wasn't, honestly, it was like nobody else was in the room but me.
Hmm.
And I just felt like God was just showing me some things with me. And um but one of the things that truly touched me during that time, and I continue to think about even now, is spiritual leadership. um and it's like a viewpoint of leadership, like I'm here to serve. I'm here to provide. I'm here to give you what you need in order to be successful. I'm giving you the tools. I'm equipping you for the battle. I'm equipping you for I'm preparing you for what you're about to go into, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of was a key part of spiritual leadership. Um, and it's not necessarily, and I'm not necessarily talking about church leadership or religious leadership. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an attitude of leadership.
Uh-huh.
Um, to make sure that, whatever setting, to make sure that the people on my team or the people that I'm supervising or the people that answer to me, I want to make sure that you have what you need for the job, that you have what you need for success, for the task, So it's more of an attitude, not necessarily a place. So if that makes any sense.
It does.
So I looked up some stuff today. And so to kind of tie in, courage and leadership, here it says courageous leadership means providing your team with positive and constructive feedback on a regular basis. Even if what you have to say is going to make someone feel uncomfortable, using those 3 buckets of courage, you can take precise actions that will make you a strong leader for yourself, for your team, and for your business. So, when we talk about leadership, we're not just talking about leading other people. I'm also talking about leading myself. Am I someone that I would follow? So leadership, yeah. So leadership doesn't just apply to my relationship to others, but it also applies to my relationship with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And here it says I looked up some things, and it says, what is a successful leader? That being the question. And number one, to possess self-awareness. One of the most important qualities of a good leader is self-awareness. And I do think that's true, because the thing about it is if I'm not self-aware, then it lessens my ability to be empathic towards other people, to show empathy towards others. Mm-hmm. So if I don't know where I'm at, or if I don't know how I feel, or if I don't know what's going on with me, then it lessens my ability to provide quality leadership to others.
Mm-hmm.
So what you thinking? What's on your mind?
Well, the whole thing about, like, I was hearing how you were saying how you were boohooing before, and I get it. God is dealing with me individually even now that I'm ergo by myself, and I am starting to see things that I didn't see before because of relationships or whatever.
Right.
And forgive me, I'm totally rambling right now, but
that's okay.
Let's keep going. We'll talk more about that later.
Okay.
We'll talk more about it later. Now, you did tap into attitude, and that was one of the things that did definitely come to my mind. Right here's another question. When things get difficult, do I let the negativity take me on a downward spiral? And that can happen real easy.
Yeah.
Like almost unconsciously. And and until you're one that is so determined to change your life, you won't even notice it. It's just a part of the symptom, if you will. So forgive me for trying to do your job, but I'm just saying, I'm speaking this from what I've been through, and I understand how easy it is to allow a circumstance or situation to pull your attitude in that same direction.
Yeah. And well, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say, kind of linking back to that self-awareness piece, it's like sometimes I need to know when I need to tap out. Sometimes
Mm,
I need to know when I need time, space, so I can regain my energy, you know?
right.
So, I do think there are times where we can get in us in an emotional space, and it's not because we're falling apart necessarily.
Right. Right.
Sometimes it's because we're tired, you know?
Yeah.
And so sometimes I need to know when I need rest, when I need to chill out, when I need to relax, when I need to go on a vacation, or you know, or I just need to stay home or whatever. Sometimes we need to know, and 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 especially like when we're working like in a team environment, that requires trust. You know, so if I need to tap out, then I also need to be able to trust
Mhm.
that you gonna be there to back me up. You're gonna be there to take up the slack. You
Right.
know, it's like in warfare, we're back to back. You know,
Mhm.
and that's how we stay in the game. You know, um, so leadership, courage, is also connected to trust. You
Mhm.
know, because sometimes, now I've never been a person that could work in a situation, micromanagement.
Right.
Mm-mm. I can't do micromanagement, because to me, micromanagement means that you don't trust me to do the job.
Mhm.
You hired me for this position. You hired me to do a job, but then you won't let me do it,
Right.
or you nitpicking, or you on top of me every step of the way. And I like my relationship with my bosses, and thankfully my last relationship with a boss was very good. And I would say to my bosses, like, listen, if I need something or if I have a question, I'm gonna come to you.
Mhm.
you know and I always appreciated, like the open door policy, right? Like I
Right.
need to, if I need something, then I need to trust that I can come to you, that I'm gonna get some positive and reasonable feedback in that process. So
If I can ask you a question, how important is it to you to know that someone trusts you?
very,
Mhm.
I mean, every relationship requires trust.
Mhm.
And so if you don't trust me, we're not going to go very far.
Right.
I mean, how far we go is going to be very limited because we don't trust each other.
Mhm.
And trust is reciprocal. Trust is it works both ways. So
Facts.
we have to be able to trust in order to grow. That's a necessary ingredient. So I think it's very important.
Agreed. Um, to a certain extent, it's an ego stroke, and I don't mean ego in a pride sense, but it kind of boosts up your confidence, if you will, to know someone trusts in you. And like you said, when it's give and take, then both parties benefit from it. And at the same
Hmm.
time, when it's not there, both can be torn apart. So, very interesting.
Hmm. Hmm.
Alrighty. When I am convinced I must move forward with my great idea before I run into a no, do I reframe it as, quote, next opportunity and press on? You need me to read that again?
Yeah.
Okay. When I am convinced I must move forward with my great idea and run into a no, do I reframe it as the next opportunity and press on?
Well, yeah, I would say yes, definitely. I mean, sometimes it can be very discouraging to hear
Mhm.
no.
Mhm.
Um, and we might even feel like it's if we hear no, that's rejection. But no is not always rejection. Sometimes no is not right now. you know
Right.
Sometimes when we feel like God is telling us no, it's not indefinite, it's not a definite no from here on out. It may be not right now,
Hmm.
like it's coming, keep going, keep moving, keep, if somebody closes the door in your face, then you go to the next door
Right.
and the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one until you get a yes, so it's worth it, I
Hmm.
mean, sometimes the question is, like we asked before, am I willing? And not only am I willing, but am I committed? If I have a dream or if I have a vision and there's something that I want to accomplish,
Hmm.
then I'm not going to waver. I'm not going to fall apart just because I got to know.
Right.
If I know that I know that I know that this is something that I want to happen, and this is something that's meant to be, then I'm gonna keep pursuing it, until the fullness of my vision comes about. You know, I mean, I have, let's see, I went solely private practice in 2015, and it's almost 2023.
Hmm.
And so there are things that are now coming into fruition that, I thought about or prayed about or dreamed about years ago,
Hmm.
but here it is now. So have there been times where I thought, oh, that ain't gonna work out, or that's not gonna happen, or ooh, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that happens. We're human.
Hmm.
So sometimes we do engage in doubt and fear, but it's not the fact that it happens, it's the fact that you don't stay there.
Right. Right.
So these things may happen on an mental and emotional level, but that's not where I stay. That's not where I live, and that's not where I pitch my tent. I'm not staying there. So yes, we do have to keep on moving. We do have to keep on pressing because it's worth it. This is something that we want, so you keep going after it.
Did you battle with imposter syndrome when you launched your business?
Yeah. I mean, not necessarily, not necessarily when I launched my business, but when I became a counselor, I was, the person would be sitting there talking, and I'm having a conversation with myself, like, oh hell, I don't know what to say. I do. I mean, like, Lord, tell me what to say. 'Cause I don't know what to say. You know. Um, and then, later on in conversations, people would be like, that what you said last week was really. I was like, oh Lord, what? I don't know. I don't know what I said. What did I say?
No, I
you
got
know.
you. I got you.
So yeah, in that sense, it's you sometimes when you've done all the education, you've done the school, you've done the test, you've done the license,
Hmm.
but then it comes time for the rubber to meet the road.
Hmm.
It comes time to walk up on stage. It comes time to perform. And the first thing that you feel is, your guts, the butterflies. And
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times where, I had to do a speaking engagement or a training, and I would literally hear my voice cracking, hey, so Rez,
What's up, Soren?
um, I would be just like, oh my God, like, I want to be anywhere but here right now. So, yeah, I mean, I had plenty of doubt. I had plenty of fear. And sometimes I still do. I mean, it doesn't necessarily go away. It's just that I deal with it differently now.
Mm.
So,
Its voice is not as loud as it used to be.
yeah, I learned how to turn it down, you know,
To a lower
definitely.
decibel.
Hmm.
So how about this, Therapist Tori? We'll go ahead and do the Blast Stars of the Week a little early, just so that we can finish the rest of this
Okay.
going forward. The artist we have today is my homegirl, LaDawn the Chameleon, and this is called Welcome to My Party. Let's check it out.
Lucky, turn me up. LaDawn the Chameleon. Welcome to my party. Party. Welcome to my 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 party. Welcome, Nella. Take 2, 3 shots from the bar if you're single. 2, 3 shots. We bout to party like no other. No other. If you a dancer, baby, move your body. If it's your birthday, take a shot of some clear. You can't be shy, we bout to turn up in here. Tonight don't owe me nothing but a good time. Don't mind me, I'm feeling so good. I'm just catching the vibes. I'm just catching the vibes, the vibes, the vibes. Welcome to my party. Welcome to my party. Oh, well on the hips like well on my body. I move my body to the side. He like it. Oh my God. Where on the hips like where on my body. I move my body to the side. He like it. Oh my God. Welcome to my party. LaDawn the Chameleon.
LaDawn the Chameleon with Welcome to My Party. That's my homie. She is coming out of Memphis, Tennessee. And also, if you would like to be an artist, or even if you're a comedian, up and coming, as well as spoken word poet, we would love you to join blastmusic247.com, and you can register as an artist for free. And that's blastmusic247.com, changing the industry one artist at a time. Alrighty.
Yeah, I like that. That was nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying this music too lately.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're getting some quality artists, and we are blessed to have them be a part of the family. And LaDawn is she's amazing. She interviewed with us this week, as a matter of fact, on Blast, and we had a good time talking
Okay.
with her. Yes, indeed. Let's see here. Let's see here. Would people say that I view them with dignity and appreciation? My view towards others. Would people say that I view them with dignity and appreciation?
Mm-hmm.
Because it depends on who it is.
So is that a question or a statement?
That's actually a question. It says here, Colin Powell, retired general and U.S. Secretary of State. I guess he may have said this. Would people say that I viewed them with dignity and appreciation?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's a key part of leadership. Actually, that's
Mm-hmm.
my number two. It talks about garner credibility, like, and I think that includes treating people with dignity and respect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about, some people like really get into hierarchy and, who's above me and who's below me. But I think it's about, we're all working together to
Mm-hmm.
achieve a goal,
Right.
there to achieve the mission. There's something that we're here to do. I mean, we've been talking about purpose as well. There's a reason why we are gathered together. There's purpose in this. We're not just here to exist. We're not just here just to do something and not even consider why we're doing it, but
Mm-hmm.
we're here to achieve something. And it really, as long as we are fulfilling a role, it really doesn't matter who's above and who's below and who's beside you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the hierarchy doesn't matter. What matters is, are we fulfilling the role that we're supposed to be fulfilling for this
Right.
particular mission or goal? So,
No, you're right.
and I think that goes back to, what we were talking about last week, as far as, let my yes be yes and my no be no. If I told you that I was going to do something, then that's exactly what I mean, you know. And yeah, things may happen or what have you, but it's like, I'm not going to forget what I told you.
Right.
I mean, you need to, again, and that goes back to trust as well. Like, you need to be able to trust that what I'm saying is the truth,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because if I don't mean it, then I don't need to say it, you know. I mean, we don't need to make commitments that we don't plan to live up to. Now,
True.
granted, things happen and sometimes there's a need for flexibility, but if I said I was going to do something, then I need to follow through with what I said. So,
Right. Yes, indeed. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Do I help others find meaning and relevance in their job? Do I help others find meaning and relevance in their jobs?
relevance.
Mhm. Am I saying it wrong? Relevance.
I'm messing with you.
No surprise there.
We gotta have at least one every week, right? We gotta we
I
gotta do
know.
it at least one time.
I know.
But yeah, I feel like as far as my role as a counselor, a therapist, or a friend, or what have you. Well, not just friend, but I guess I'll leave it. What I do. But I feel like I'm kind of spiritually the sojourner truth, in a way,
Mm.
because I'm facilitating something. I'm working with you to get to the other side of where you're trying to go. Now I don't do it for you, but I'm working with you. I'm facilitating this process. So, it's almost like helping someone see the blind spots. And I think that's what we do in leadership as well, because I may be talking to you or working with you, and you know because you are so close to a situation, or you may be frustrated or overwhelmed or inundated, that you can't see the positives of what's going on, you
Mhm.
know and so you're talking to somebody that is outside of your situation. And sometimes they, even as a leader, sometimes they can see things that you can't see.
True.
And so that's what I mean by helping someone to see the blind spots, you know. I mean, so, you know, if somebody has blinders on, you know, they're only going to see a certain thing, right?
Right.
But I'm not your, you know, I'm outside the blinder. So I'm pointing out all kind of stuff and you like, oh, you know, I didn't see that. I didn't know, or I didn't know that was there, you know?
Right.
So, yeah. So to answer that question, I would say yes. I mean, sometimes in leadership, we are um, recognizing and seeing and identifying things that maybe that person can't see, or they don't even realize that the things that they're doing, like that's a skill, that's a talent, that's that's relevant, that's important, that's valuable, you know. So you may see things that the other person can't see.
True that. Definitely in leadership, they should have that ability to see the strengths, you know, of
Mm-hmm.
individuals to make the job more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
How can I help make bad decisions? Excuse me. How can I help make bad behavior harder and conscious and good behavior easier and more enjoyable?
Okay, one more time.
Sure. How can I help make bad behavior harder and conscious and good behavior easier and more enjoyable? So, in other words, kind of like Paul, the things I'm not supposed to do, I do. And the
Mm-hmm.
things that I know to do, I don't do. So, they're
Mm-hmm.
asking, how can I make the bad decisions harder to do and the conscious and good behaviors easier and more enjoyable to do?
Well, I feel like kind of going back to last week's conversation, um, we don't become successful alone,
Right.
you know. So sometimes we do need accountability. You know, if I'm sharing something with you and I say that this is really important to me and this is something that I really want to accomplish, then it's important for us to be vulnerable. It's important for us to share, because if not, without that communication, I'm not going to know what's important to you. And I won't be able to hold you accountable to the things that you said that you wanted to do,
Right.
you know. So um I feel like I'm missing something though. Read that one more time.
Good thing. How can I help make bad decisions harder and conscious and good behavior easier and more enjoyable?
Okay. So I guess I feel like the other piece of that is it's important for me to open up, to speak, to have a voice, to say it. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes there's certain things that I need to hear myself say, because when I say it, when I identify it, then that gives me even more power and impetus to not do that thing again. You know,
Right.
like when I identify something, when I acknowledge something that has been challenging for me acknowledging it and confronting it and dealing with it and exposing it is the thing that gives me even more power to get over it, to get past it, to get beyond it, if that
Mhm.
makes any sense. You know, when we keep things to ourselves, when we don't point it out, when we don't identify it, then we allow that thing to have power over us that it shouldn't have.
Right.
You know, when I can be honest and say, um, there's been times where, you know, I been late, you know, or, you know, things like that. Like, it's important for me to acknowledge that instead of my allowing my ego to say, don't point that out, because if you point that out, they're going to use that against you.
Hmm.
Well, no, I'm pointing it out and I'm acknowledging it because I don't want to make a justification for that anymore. You know, I want accountability when it comes to that, because then, through acknowledgement, then I can get past it and I can improve, and that won't be a challenge for me going forward. So,
okay.
Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Am I leading like the genius or the genius maker? That's an interesting question. Am I leading like the genius or the genius maker?
Well, I think we're both.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are the geniuses, and I think we are genius makers as well. Mm-hmm. We duplicate who we are. In leadership, right. we that's what we're doing. We're duplicating ourselves. So the strengths and the talents and the things that I possess, I'm instilling those things in the people around me as well. Mm-hmm. So the more that I build on that, the more that I confront certain things, we're all getting stronger at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's like hiring a personal trainer, right? For me personally, I'm not hiring no personal trainer that look like they just got finished eating a bag of donuts,
It ain't happening.
I want somebody in front of me that gives me something to push forward to look forward to, right? So, and as I'm working out and they're working me out, like I can feel myself getting stronger,
Right.
So I don't know if that was a good analogy, but we're going to go with that for the moment.
I think that worked well, though. That's that's a fact. You want someone better looking than you that's going to train you to whatever that is, especially physical therapy or working out. Yeah, most definitely. This is a good question here. Am I humble enough to help others rise above me?
Yeah. I remember being in corporate America and working for the state and being in some of those situations. And I remember feeling, even in academia, it's not okay to raise your hand and ask a question because you might look dumb, it might, but when I'm more worried about looking dumb than actually getting the answer, then I'm allowing my ego to control something within me. Like what's more important? Is getting the information more important or looking dumb? Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, you're assuming what other people are thinking, and you really don't know what other people are thinking. And I remember being in some of those settings saying, "Oh, thank God they asked that question, because that's the same question I had. I was just afraid to ask."
Right.
So I don't know. Read it one more time and make sure. I was telling people, listen, don't get old.
Am I humble enough? Am I humble enough to help others rise above me?
Yeah, humility. Humility is love, and I think it's important to be humble. I think we have to get away from making everything an ego process, Mm-hmm. Because ego causes us to worry about things that are totally irrelevant.
Agreed.
And at the end of the day, it's like I don't give a damn. Why should I care what you think?
Right.
If I'm getting what I need, why do I care what I think other people think? It doesn't matter. It really don't matter. Right.
Agreed. Let's see here. Who are the budding next generation leaders that I am intentionally and personally developing? You being a teacher, do you think about that? Who
Oh
are the
yeah,
next?
all the time. I mean, as a professor, I don't want them, and I've told my classes, like, I don't want y'all just sitting in here memorizing information for a test
Right.
because as soon as this class is over, you're going to forget everything that we talked about.
Right.
So if I'm only concerned about you memorizing stuff to be able to answer questions on a test, then I don't feel like I've really done my job. You should come out of here knowing some stuff. You should come out of here knowing some things that's going to better your life. You should come out of here with a totally different perspective than the way that you came in. Because if not, then you wasted your time. Even if let's say you get an A, you still wasted your time if you're walking away with something that's not beneficial.
Hmm.
So that's the way I think. I mean, you know, every interaction is still this iron sharpens iron. I mean, just because I'm a professor doesn't mean that I can't learn anything from my students. I don't walk into it with that type of attitude,
Right.
because sometimes they do say something that I didn't know, and I learned something too. And every time I teach something, I learn it even more. So
Right. Right. I got you. Well, as far as the questions go, I'm pretty much exhausted there. Do you have anything on top of that you'd like to add?
yeah, there's a few more things here. I think this is what is this? Top 10 things that create successful leaders. So we talked about self awareness. We talked about credibility. The third one here is focus on relationship building. So in most relationships, we should have a good rapport. I feel like I have a good rapport with my students. I feel like I have a good rapport with my clients. I feel like I have good relationships in my family and with my kids. Um, so the key is relationship building. I mean, when we go to work, I mean, yeah, we're there to do a job, but we also have a relationship with each other, you know? And I'm not saying that you go to work and share all your personal business, because no, you don't do that. But, again, I should be able to trust. I should be able to know that I can come to you and ask you a question, and you'll provide information, you know, or hey, I'm going to be out. Can you cover for me? I should be able to trust that. So focus on relationship building. I mean, and as leaders, I mean, the people that, you know, are reporting to us, I mean, they should feel like they're going to get what they need in order to be successful in their position or their role.
Hmm.
Um, Number 4 says have a bias for action. So I mean, it's not just, you can tell what a person thinks and believes by the way that they behave and the way that they conduct themselves and the way that they conduct their life. You know, if I say to you, I'm going to be a personal trainer, but you never see me work out. You never see me take no classes. You don't see me trying to get my license, or then you're gonna be like, okay, is that what you really want to do, or are you just saying that? You
Right.
know, so there should be some action behind your words. You know.
Yes.
Um, oh, just like you just said, humility. Exhibit humility. I don't, in leadership, I don't, I see no room for being pious, no room for looking down on other people, because I didn't get to this place and I didn't get to this position by myself. There were people who supported me. There were people who educated me. There were people who showed me the ropes, you know. So along the way and along that journey, I mean, I got a whole litany of people to thank for getting for me being where I am right now. So I didn't get there by myself. So there's no reason for me to act that way towards other people, you know.
I
No
agree.
reason for that.
I agree.
Number 6 says empower the team. You know, I should be able to say something encouraging, even if I'm providing correction, or, you know, maybe somebody did something that violated policy or whatever. I mean, I should be able to address that person and give them some tools of empowerment to say something encouraging. It's like, well, you know, I see why you act, you know, why you did this and this and this, but next time let's try this and this.
Hmm.
You know, and if you have any questions, then come ask me. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right.
You know, why should I expect you to know every possible scenario that could come up? There's no way that you're going to know that.
Hmm.
So if you don't have questions, I should be concerned if you don't have questions, because you should have some questions, you know?
Right.
So
Indeed.
empowerment, that was number 6. And number 7, stay authentic. I think that is really, really important, is authenticity, and being genuine. You know, I mean, people are really going to connect with you, and you will get a lot of support out of being authentic. You know, because when someone feels like you being honest and you being real and you being genuine with them, you're gonna get a whole lot more out of that, you know, professional relationship than you would if you fake and, you know, disconnected. So I think authenticity is very, very important.
Okay.
I'm kind of going through these fast, but number 8, present yourself as constant and consistent. You know, I mean, and I think that's needed in all relationships. You know, if I can't, you know, if I can't count on you, or every time I turn around, you know, you somewhere else, you know, I mean, if I can't count on you, then that's going to hinder our relationship quite a bit. If
Sure
you're not
will.
if you're not committed, you know, if I can't depend on you, then what do I need you for? You
Exactly.
know, I need you to be consistent. I need you to be committed, because what we're trying to accomplish a goal. We're going somewhere.
Hmm.
So, um, number 9, become a role model for followers. And that's pretty much what we've been talking about the whole time, being a role model. Um, and even from a professional standpoint, I think it's important to have mentors. You know, I mean, in my professional career, I've gone to some bosses and coworkers, and I have asked them, "Will you mentor me?" Because there's some things that I've identified in your character and the way that you do things, and your strategies that I really, really like. And I would love, you know, for us to occasionally go to lunch or have a conversation, because I feel like it's going to help me in my professional career. So
Hmm.
I think mentoring is a really good thing. Um, and number 10, be fully present. Um, and sometimes, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's not always easy, especially when we get tired, you know. But you know, there's times where I have to talk to myself like, wake up, wake up, focus, listen, engage, you know, because you know what it would be like to be on the receiving end if somebody's really not engaged with you. You know,
Mhm.
I used to have my counselor used to fall asleep on me,
Oh, dang.
and I'd be like, "Dang, am I that boring?" Yeah, I need to have some more dramatic stuff to talk about because I am putting this man to sleep. So,
Wow.
but yeah, so number 10 is be fully present.
Hmm.
So that's what I got, y'all.
That was awesome stuff. Um, everyone's been quiet today. They could have also gave comments, but that's fine. Whew, man. Courage is a big deal, apparently. Having,
Yeah.
having to have courage on a daily basis. And as she said, be humble about it. That's what I got most out of it. Be humble
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Yeah. That's my word, to be humble about it. Alrighty. Anything else you would like to add before we close shop?
Um, no, overall, I would say from a spiritual standpoint, I feel like, you know, Christ's example was humility. And that's why so many people followed him, you know, to be genuine, to genuinely love other people, you're going to get that in return. It may not be from every person that you want to receive it from, but you will get it back in so many ways. So, but anyway, I just appreciate um, people, coming in to support. Even if you're not saying anything, I know that you're there, and I really appreciate that. I mean, these conversations have been awesome. I know they, if nothing else, they help me.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So I like that.
Indeed, I definitely benefit from them. Indeed. Alrighty. Well, everybody, we thank you for swinging by. And as you know, every Friday it's not 7, it is at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central. Definitely check out Living the Abundant Life with Therapist Tori. My name is Daveep, as mostly everyone knows me. And we will see you guys next week. You guys have a good one. Take
Yes,
care.
happy weekend. Thank you.
Enjoy it.